Jake Copeland just showed up on the team. You had artists left, so there's a lot of changes at linebacker. What are you looking for with Jake?
Jake's a kid that came to our camp, out of junior college, ran 4.38, really explosive, really fast. He was a qualifier, so he was available to come right now, and has to learn the system, has to practice with us. So I haven't seen him play yet, but in terms of as an athlete, in terms of as sort of that freak athlete category, he's definitely in it. And so, he's with us, and we're excited to have him.
Sorry. Is there anybody that missed spring camp that won't be ready for the start when you come back?
I believe Gavin Holmes will be cleared. He's limited right now, but I believe he'll be cleared. And unless someone has something here, Drew Dixon missed some spring, and he's still seeing a doctor for his back, so I don't know where that one's at yet. They were at the doctor today or tomorrow, I believe. But other than that, I think we should be in good shape.
How about Johnston?
No, Clay's back. Yeah, he's running around doing everything.
Coach, what do you think about the offensive line this year, and do you think that Baylor's going to be able to run the ball better than the previous year?
Well, I certainly hope so. We need to, and we put a lot of time and work into it. I mean, I think our offensive line is, way further ahead than where we were last year, in terms of size and strength and numbers and understanding what's asked of them. So I would expect that we would make a major improvement both in our pass protection and in our ability to run the football, just from experience and time on task.
Yeah, I talked to Greg and Ira a little bit about it, and just asking them if it's helped that the offensive line has the depth and the talent to maybe compete really well in practice. Have you seen that? Do you think there's good competition?
Yeah, I think early on in spring, I think our defensive line was ahead of our offensive line. I thought our offensive line as spring went on got better and better and better. And but yeah, iron sharpens iron. The way you become a good player is great reps over and over versus another good player. And so I liked the battles. I thought we had a lot of good work against each other, and I saw a lot of improvement as the spring went on.
So one position that I think everyone has been talking about is the wide receiver position, just how loaded it is with talent. Is this possibly the best wide receiver group you've ever had?
Well, for me, I don't know that I've ever had a group like this. And I've had some good ones. I mean, Robbie Anderson played for me. He was an All-Pro, basically, or was on his way to becoming an All-Pro. And so I've had a lot of really good ones. But these guys are a special group, And so the thing I loved about some of those other groups is their toughness. And I think we have developed a toughness in the wide receiver room that I really like.
Has Jalen Hurd brought that toughness up a little bit?
I think he has it in him, but I think we have a lot of tough guys. I mean, Chris Platt's a tough guy. Mims has developed into a tough guy. Tony Nicholson's developed into a tough guy. So I think we have a lot of guys in that room that have really taken a step and moved us up.
Coach, fullback has been a forgotten position at Baylor, and when they talk about the running backs, they really don't mention Wilbur Boyd. How do you see the fullback being utilized this year?
I'm not sure exactly how it'll go. I think we'll try to do it some. I think a lot of it will depend on, those guys' health and where we are. That Kyle did a good job last year, and then Kobe did a good job at times in the spring games. So I could see us, making that a part of our offense. It's one that we'll try in preseason and just sort of see where we are. But both guys, for their first time doing it, I thought have done a good job. And year two, hopefully, we'll see, real development in terms of understanding the nuances of getting that job done. I like to bring guys who I feel like represent us. I want to be careful saying that because, Pat Lawrence should be here. Blake Blackmar should be here. But, this was a group to me of guys who've come a long way. And, I wanted them to have this experience. And so, if I could bring 5, I'd have brought 5. If I could have brought 6, I'd have brought 6. But I think these are 4 great representatives of the program. As I said up there, they all have their degree. And I think they're going to play really good football for us.
You talked about the difference between this year and last year. How much is the difference for these guys, for you knowing that you can lead these guys kind of in charge and they can kind of run things over the summer?
Yeah, even like anytime you go to, year 2 of something, it's always easier. You know what to expect. You know what the summer looks like. You know what camp looks like. So, it's like, when you go to work out and you don't know what you're going to do next, you're a little nervous when these guys, they know what to do. And so, but I think the biggest thing is that they understand what we're looking for, and they're living it every day, number one, and then they're defending it, and they're making sure that everyone else lives up to it. And so that's a key thing to me. Even the fact that, they're proud to walk around, look good in suits, and, carry themselves in a certain way. I mean, they are tremendous representatives.
How do you feel about your depth this season?
I think we're significantly deeper than we were. There's some areas that, I'm still, maybe a little bit concerned about. But we have enough people at pretty much every position. We might have to play some younger kids, and I'd love to be able to redshirt some guys, it's sometimes. But I feel like we're a much more complete team, much deeper team. I've been really pleased with a lot of our non-scholarship players, our walk-on players. They've given us tremendous depth as well. And so there's not an area that I'm overly concerned about, except for maybe quarterback just being a person or two. We'd love to have another guy or two.
How big of a step? You played a lot of freshmen. They got their feet wet. Most of them played in almost every single game. What should we look for in year number 2 as they go in? And a little bit more experience, still young,
Yep.
but still a little bit more experience now.
Yeah, I think that, it's like I call it like youthful experience. Like you know what to do. You've been out there, but how wise are you yet? Do you really know? Do you really know what to expect? And so I think the thing that helped them last year was they got out there and they played, and they were able to walk out the field and say, I can do this. I can play at this level. I can be a difference maker. And so that allowed them to work the way they worked in the offseason. That allowed them to push the way they pushed in the offseason. And so here we are now. Now it's time to go, make sure we learn how to win.
How much of that experience is even a bigger factor with a group like the offensive line, where you have a lot of returning starters, but also some transfers that you're hoping will play some valuable minutes for you?
Yeah, and they've, all the kids on the offensive line have been together all spring. They've been together all summer now. You look back to last year, and, we had Ryan Miller playing against, Liberty. He was a true freshman. We had Sam Tecklenburg, who started at left guard, who was a tight end, not too long, Josh Malin. And now those guys have a year in the system, a year to, be strong and confident and mature. But so the offensive line, I think, is one of the areas we're going to see the most improvement from last year to this year. And a lot of that has to do with them working together, and a lot of it has to do with just them getting bigger or stronger. Like even looking at these guys, they're a good-looking group. I mean, they've really developed physically.
2 years ago at Media Days, it was Coach Grove and Mac Rhodes was just introduced. Last year was your first year here. This is kind of the first year there haven't been any huge changes. How much does the whole team, benefit from just having that consistency?
Yeah, I think all humans, but especially young people, crave consistency, crave stability, and when you know what to expect, it's easy to go attack it. And so I think that this summer has been really good for them. That we're always trying to improve, we're always trying to tweak this or tweak that, but at the end of the day, they know who we are, and thankfully there hasn't been any major changes. I'm excited about that.
Phil Snow's defense, a little complicated in year 1. Year 2, how big of a step, how big of a jump can we see this defense, especially up front at the front 4, because you not only have 4 good guys that can rush the passer, but you also have some good depth as well with Lockhart and everybody else that can rush the passer.
Yeah, I expect us to play good defense this year. Year 2 in the system, guys start flying around. We were talking about, I think someone asked me about turnovers before. Turnovers are a function of running the ball and playing fast and playing physical. And so you have to be confident to do that. So I look for this year us to make a step defensively. And I believe that all starts up front. It all starts with the ability. You're not going to stop these passing games in the Big 12 with great DB play. You're going to stop it with pass rush. And if we can play the way I know we're capable of up front, then I think it'll be a major jump defensively.
Coach, you just kind of hit on that a little bit. You're not going to be able to stop the offensive, the passing games in the league this year. It's kind of a weird league. Baker Mayfield's gone, Mason Rudolph's gone. The only sure quarterback in the league is Will Greer. How do you feel that quarterback play is going to be this year?
So I've always felt like, and this goes back to Coach Snow when we were at UCLA. If you want to know who's going to win a league, you take the top 2 quarterbacks in the league, and one of those guys usually wins the league. And that's not true all the time, but it's hard to win without a great quarterback. This year, to me, I think the league is going to come down to, which quarterbacks grow up the fastest. You have a lot of great quarterbacks that have played some football, but even Charlie, who I know we're all excited about and, know he can do some good things, he's played 4, 5, 6 ball games, whatever it is. And so it's, to me, going to be about which kids make the biggest jump into their second or third year, whatever year it is for them. So Will obviously is established, but there's a lot of other guys that have just played a little bit. So that'll tell us, who's gonna win the Big 12 this season.
Matt, you'll start practice date, starting practice date.
Yeah, we start practice on August 3rd or 2nd? Yeah, Friday, whatever that Friday is. Is that the 2nd or? So we start practice August 3rd or August 2nd. And so, we're still in summer school for a couple days. So we're doing, a little bit around summer school and then going from there.
That's about a week later than last year.
Yeah, last year they had that unique rule, and so we started. They changed the rule last year, so we started in July last year, which was different. But this year it's back to normal. I think they've actually cut it down. It's 25 practices before the first game, so there's enough time to get some work in. But we're also going to have to maximize our time.
I wanted to ask you about Trayvon Lewis and Justin Harris. Is their situation changed at all? Are they cleared to play yet?
So Trayvon Lewis will not be with us this fall, and that has nothing to do with that situation. It's he's leaving the program. He's been dismissed from the program for an unrelated disciplinary matter.
Okay.
I'll make sure I say that again. Completely unrelated to anything with that, but he's had a separate disciplinary issue, and so he's been dismissed from the team.
Okay.
Justin Harris's status is unchanged.
Okay. And John Arthur,
John Arthur's status is unchanged. I am under the assumption that he has left on his own, transferred to another school. So Justin Harris will be listed on the depth chart until his status is changed.
I wanted to ask you something kind of like not about stuff like that, but about your stadium and facilities. And when you took the job, you had like a palace. What's on your wish list now?
I think if I could do one thing for us in terms of our facilities, it would be to have a football-only practice building, football-only building. And that's twofold. I think for us, having our own weight room, having our own training room would be ideal. And then I think for the other student athletes on our team that have to come over and share the same weight room, it's not ideal for them. And so I think if we were ever able, my wish list, ever able to build our own football-only facility, which is what I had at Temple, we had at Penn State, it would open up the building we have currently for other sports and then open that up for...
That's like the whole practice?
Not just like weight room, equipment room, meeting rooms, just have it all be sort of self-contained.
Football offices?
Yeah, all there as well. So that would be if I could pick.
You got to experience offensive line. Just talk about the running backs running behind them with Hasty and Lovett and Ebner, those guys, and what they bring to the table this upcoming season.
And no player has done has made a bigger jump since the season for me than Jamichael. Consistently one of the hardest workers on our team. Complete and total commitment to being strong, being explosive. Had a great spring, and has had a great summer. So I look forward to Jamichael really, taking a step. Lovett was a single digit last year. Tough guy, tough player, and he's put on a bunch of weight. He's in the 200s now. And John, we think he can be an outstanding back. And then Treston Ebner, making the move from receiver last year. He's doing the reverse of what Jalen Hurd did. And so every day that he practices at running back is another day for him to get better. And so I really like our depth. We brought in, Squirrel, Craig Williams, who's a dynamic, explosive player. Abram Smith comes back from a knee injury. Kobe Ballard, Kyle Boyd, both playing fullback for us. So there's, to me, that's a room that has a chance to have a couple difference makers.
Some of the hallmarks of your team are physicality and toughness. You want your teams to play that way. What did you see from that standpoint from Big 12 teams? Do you maybe see that kind of trying to ramp itself up in the Big 12?
Yeah, when we played Oklahoma State last year, Oklahoma State was physical with us. When we played Texas last year, Texas's defense was talented and was physical with us. So, I think there's some misnomers out there in the world about the Big 12. I think there's a lot of tough, physical, hard-nosed teams. As I said in my thing, TCU and Iowa State proved to me that you can play defense in the league. So, I'm kind of an incrementalist. It's not about like changing everything. It's just about getting a little bit better here, a little bit better there. And if we can just make some subtle changes, I like played West Virginia, great football team. It's 14-14 with 1:20 left. With 8 seconds left, they throw a touchdown. We go into halftime. It takes 30 seconds to score a touchdown, and all of a sudden we lose a little bit of hope. And so, to me, it's not about revamping everything. It's about just being about 10 seconds better. And but I want to be a tough, physical, hard-nosed team, and I think we have the players to do it.
How much does having Mims, Jalen Hurd, Flat, all those experienced guys help Charlie out?
Well, he's got a ton of weapons. I'll throw Tony Nicholson out there, who's had a great summer, and Pooh Strickland, who I think can be one of the great receivers in the league as well. Jared Atkinson's back with us now, and then a bunch of young kids. So I think we have so much talent out wide. As a quarterback, you want him to be a facilitator. You don't want him to have to try to make every play. You want him just to, get the ball to the guy that's open. And so we have so many guys that can get open, that a 4-yard pass can become a 40-yard run, and that to me is really when you're playing quarterback at a high level. So whoever our quarterback is, he certainly has the weapons to be explosive.
You mentioned seeing quarterbacks potentially having a dip in year 2 when they're trying to learn a majority of the system. How much of a difference does it make having that talented group of receivers so maybe they mitigate that drop?
Well, you're hoping that just as a coach, you always want to push their development, but you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to put too much on the quarterback. You always want them to play free, and so when you have great players, you have a tendency to do less. And so we have a skill group out there that we really like. So I think the key for us is to make sure we don't do too much. Let our guys play free. Let them play without having to think too much. But at the same time, we also want to push them and develop them. I don't want them coming out to the NFL and not being prepared for the next step in their life. And so we've got to push them. We've got to put a lot on them, but not too much.
You said up there that if you had to go play today, Charlie would be the guy. How do you balance, the competition factor with also being like, this is your leader, this is the guy that we're going to follow? How do you balance this?
Because I think the players follow the guys that they think are the leaders. I don't think they listen to me, and so they know who's playing the best. And so the reality of it is Charlie goes out there. If he plays great, he's going to be the guy, and if he doesn't play well, the other guy's going to be the guy. And it's the same for everyone else. And when there's equity, when everyone's gets treated the same, or at least gets treated fair, then I think guys respect the process. And so I think leadership comes in so many different ways, but at the end of the day, they all want to follow the quarterback who moves them down the field, And so I have a lot of confidence in Charlie. Don't mistake anything. Don't take anything I'm saying as not being confident. I just, to me, this is a show me game. You have to prove it week in and week out, and I'm excited to see him go do that.
How big of an impact will James Lockhart have this season for you?
I think Locke's going to have an impact in production and pass rush, but also in the way he plays. I mean, he's so tough, he's so physical, he's so dedicated. We've messed around with him a little bit as like a short yardage and goal line fullback. He's an explosive, tough kid, and he's about all the right things. You hear us every once in a while say, one of us. He's one of us. He's a guy that likes to play the game. Doesn't just want to win, he wants to play the game. And I think he'll give us a lot of depth and production, on the defensive line.
You said, I think it was maybe during the spring, that his bench reps were in the 40s. Has that improved, or do you have a specific number?
They're actually doing their 225 testing. I guess it's next week, or maybe late this week, early next week, and squat testing. So I'm not sure where he'll get, but he's up there. I get tired just watching him bench press. So.
Hey, Graylin Arnold, he had 35 tackles, 7 pass breakups, got a pick. How much can he, has he grown since a year ago and throughout the spring and get ready for fall camp?
I don't think any of us have really seen the Graylin Arnold that we know's out there. And why I say that is, he played as a freshman, had that shoulder surgery after that freshman year, came back from the surgery, then hurt his arm. So he played all last year with a cast. He played all last year trying to get back in shape, and he played really well. I mean, he produced. But I think he can be a difference maker. He is tough. He is demanding. He makes that elite list every week. He gets on other guys. He's a leader. I mean, Graylin's my kind of guy. And I think this year, having a chance to have a full summer, to be healthy, I think we'll see a guy really play at the level I know he's capable of this fall.
Do you expect Blake Lynch to make a big step forward as a safety?
Yeah, it was funny, just thinking back to some of the things last year. You had guys on Monday, we'd have to tell Blake if he was playing receiver or corner that week, as crazy as that is. But he just seems to be a natural at safety. Just seems to love to go pursue the ball, can make tackles, and he's a guy that how do you get your turnovers up? You get guys out there that make turnovers, and he's one of them. So Blake is a guy that loves football, loves to compete, and I think he'll make a major step for us.
How does his wide receiver skills translate to the safety position?
Well, it has ball skills, right? So there's a lot of guys that are great tacklers, great run stoppers. They can, they just can't go make a play on the ball, and his offensive background allows him to be a guy that can judge the ball, take the right angle, and go make a play on the ball.
You think his physical attribute or physicalness will translate?
Yeah. I have no doubt about that. I think the biggest difference when you go from playing receiver to safety is when you have a bad play at receiver, you drop a ball, you run a wrong route. It's oh darn. When you make a mistake at safety, it's usually 6, and so you have to have just a completely different mindset. Not only of how important every play is, but also when something goes wrong, how you have to flush it and keep playing. And so that adjustment, he got a little bit of that last year by playing corner. And so look forward to him playing safety and really settling into a position that really fits him.
Matt, the first couple weeks of preseason drills, what are the things you look for, like early?
So like the first 5 days of camp, I look at it like it's like a mini camp. We're going to install as much as we can. They're still in classes, so the days chewed up a little bit, and we're going to push them to learn it mentally. The next 10 days to me are like training camp. Like you're grinding. You wake up every day, you don't want to go to practice. The coaches don't want to go, but good teams push their way through that. And then, school starts, and we have 2 weeks to get ready for the first game. And so I kind of try to break it up into those phases in my mind. There's some things that we have to get a lot better at. We have to get a lot better at, taking the ball away and protecting the football. We have to continue to improve running the ball and stopping the run. And so, it's not to me about scheme. It's more about, are we making progress in those little areas? Are we protecting our quarterback and getting to their quarterback? And so if we can make some steps in those areas, it'll help us a lot.
Where does Charlie have to come along in preseason camp? What are maybe some areas he's got to
I think he just needs to play. I think the thing about Charlie is, you have this small subset, so, he had some red zone turnovers that maybe hurt us here and there. But, Charlie's played a lot of football. He's a good player. He just needs to play. He wasn't able to do a ton in the spring. So get out there, get reps, continue to develop, get comfortable in what we're going to ask him to do. And but there's not any one area I say, boy, he needs to fix this. He had to get bigger, and he has to improve his arm strength. Not that his arm's not strong enough, but we want to be a team that can throw the ball down the field. And you go put on the 2013 and the 2014 and the 2015 Baylor teams, and the one thing that stands out is Bryce and all those guys throwing the ball to Corey Coleman and those guys over people's. The ability to throw the ball down the field was special, and so we think we have those kind of receivers, and we just need to make sure we get the ball down there. So that's been something I think Charlie's worked on this whole off season and summer, and Jalen has a big arm and Gary has a big arm, so hopefully we can have a deep play threat.